Did you see the drop in stock price for Tesla over the last 3 months? Elon lost over 100 billion on that. Yeah, one thing I'm really surprised about, but I don't know, like the structure of, like, well, hold on. What percentage of Tesla does Elon Musk own voting shares? Elon Musk is the largest shareholder, 12.8% of the company. Okay, but who has... Does he? Are there different tranches of shares that give you more voting ability? Or... Because like for Facebook, I think that Zuckerberg, he has like he doesn't have a majority of the shares, but he has a majority of the voting rights. I don't know if it works the same for Tesla. I'm surprised that if you're a shareholder for Tesla, I would be very surprised if you would be okay with Musk's heavy political involvement. That would just be very scary. Like if I owned Tesla stock and I could vote, I'd be pushing the button to like, get this guy to politics. Go work at your fucking factories, okay? Do something about your cars, Elon, what the fuck? I would be super triggered. Damn. To be fair, that was a peak all-time high. Since December 17th, this stock has lost almost 50% of its value, but that's coming off an all-time high. It's still up from a year ago by quite a bit, so... Yeah, I don't know. This whole stock is like it's a crazy ride. Who knows? Being an pundit with opposing views to the government seems scary now, given the push to limit speech/press in this admin. What lines have got to be crossed to make you leave? Where would you go? I don't know where I'd go. I'll just keep buying more guns. Yeah, it could be the case that Tesla's stock is basically tied to Elon's rep anyway, so people do want him in the media because, yeah. Revealed what Trump said in Strop when he saw a photo of King Charles with Zelensky. Donald Trump has gone cool on Britain since King Charles welcomed Volodymyr Zelensky to Sandringham, diplomatic sources in Washington have claimed. Allies of the U.S. president made clear to UK officials in America that pictures of the king with the Ukrainian leader made him feel less special about the monarch's invitation for a state visit to Britain. In response, the Trump allies were told that it would have been inappropriate for the government to direct the king not to meet Mr. Zelensky. The king met Mr. Zelensky last Sunday, just days after Sir Keir Starmer had presented Mr. Trump with an invitation from Charles to fly to London for an official visit. Nice. Overall, do you think the Newsom pod coming out against trans women in sports is advantageous for his 2028 run? I don't know if he'll run for 2028, but Democrats do need to take a stronger stance on, like, immediately just disavowing crazy trans shit, for sure. See if the Dems can do it. Do you hold any crypto? Not really, no. Just making things up, no one has made any threats about cutting Ukraine off from Starlink and say thank you, because without Starlink, Ukraine would have lost this war long ago and Russians would be on the border with Poland right now. Thank you, Marco, for confirming that the brave soldiers of Ukraine can count on the vital internet service provided jointly by the United States and Poland. Together, Europe and the U.S. can help Ukraine to achieve a just peace. Nice. What's your red line that would be you leaving the U.S.? I don't know.
Just a couch at a place in the suburbs. No, not by a long shot.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The police reaction. Seeing the secret entrance revealed to a gun lover's treasure trove.
Okay, no more links. We got
Democrats.
Too much shit to watch. Jesus. There's a war in Australia called the Emu War. The Australians went to war with emus and fucking lost. Yeah, I hear that meme a lot, but when I look at Australia, I don't see any emu cities or towns. So I don't know what the emus won. Seems like the Australians are still there. The Elon tax. Ad insiders say they're advising clients to spend on X to avoid legal and political headaches. Jesus. Headline.
Okay.
One of the ironies of the attack on you, and I'm going to play what he did, was that my understanding is the program at the source of this whole thing is a program to lower costs for people. Do I have that top line correct?
You have it absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm gonna play what he had to say, and then I'm gonna ask you to explain what the program is that was such an obvious, ludicrous laugh line for the Republicans there. Take a listen.
$1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her?
She didn't like that. Oh.
Okay, so what is this organization? What is your relation to it, and what does it do?
In 2023 and 2024, I led a program called Vitalizing DeSoto. We worked in a tiny town in South Georgia to demonstrate that by replacing energy inefficient appliances with efficient appliances, you can lower your costs. And in fact, we accomplished that. For 75% of the community, they got appliances that are lowering their bills right now. We had one woman who saw her electric bill.
So $2 billion was spent on one small town? I think we need to see the accounting here.
Was it 2 billion? And how small is the town? Wait, fuck, never mind. Well, let's keep them.
I want to see the accounting for this. Where are the balance sheets? Let's see where that money going?
Bill cut in half from $180 to $98. That's what we delivered. Yep. And based on that program, a coalition of organizations, famous organizations, came together and said to the EPA, if we can do this here, we can do this for millions more Americans. Let us invest the money of America in lowering the cost for Americans. And the EPA said, okay, great, go for it.
So let me get this straight.
Energy inefficient program called Vitalizing DeSoto. We worked in a tiny town in South Georgia to demonstrate.
Is it DeSoto? How many people are in DeSoto?
Wait, I'm sorry, did I miss it? Where did the 2 billion number come from?
So
Trump. Oh.
You take 2 billion, divide that by 120. Now, last time I was at Home Depot, the refrigerators.
Yeah, it sounds like, so they piloted this thing in a small town, and then the plan was to roll it out to other parts of the U.S. But he thinks that they spent this $2 billion in just this one town?
Were like $1,000. Isn't that just one example? You know what I think?
Yeah, now that we've done the barest of bad research and we have the most retarded collection of untrue facts, give us the narrative for it all. What are we going with here? She gets paid by these companies that are writing these bullshit checks to pay off other people at these businesses, and all the money's just being stolen from the government or some bullshit.
I think that these people that run these systems are completely fucking incompetent. I do. And I actually, this might sound like a crazy take, but I don't think that they're all corrupt. I think that a lot of them are just...
Oh, okay. We're going with a retard over the
military grade stupid. And by military grade, I'm talking about the amount of money that they waste. These are people that can take $100 and they can't even buy a bag of potato chips with it. I think they dumb as fuck. It was only 75% of those people. Yeah, it's crazy. I think they're just stealing. Yeah. I don't know how you go and say this and think that this is a good thing to say. DeSoto, by the numbers, has 114. What the hell is going on? Has anyone ever replaced any of those appliances and light bulbs? Did your electric costs go up or down? Let's see the receipt. Yeah. We got some roaches. We got a whole lot of roaches.
DeSoto, Georgia client, Rewiring America. 2024, Vitalizing DeSoto. Number of households, 115. Number of households enrolled in program, 81. Median household income, $27,813. Electrification upgrades provided. HVAC heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, induction stoves, weatherization, remediation repairs. Project costs, $1.75 million. Not $2 billion. So he's off by 1, 2, 3 orders of magnitude. But okay. Power-based energy work closely with Rewiring America to provide electrification retrofits for the majority of homes in town, providing increased comfort and energy bill reductions at no cost to DeSoto's participating residents. Power-based engaged City Hall, working closely with the town's mayor and administration to educate and enroll residents in Rewiring America's blah, 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 blah. Sure. So how much is this per household? So we have 81 households that were enrolled in a pilot program. So this is about $21,600 per household to upgrade Now, I don't know if they did this in every household or not. Hopefully they could get the cost down if they rolled it out to, if they did larger projects, I guess. But it's about $21,600 per household, if I got that right. But okay. Go off, Chief.
If you scale that up for 250 million Americans, that would cost $1.4 quadrillion. Well, we got to print some more money. That sounds like we got to print a whole lot more money. Oh my God, this is a shock. I can't even believe this shit. It's so stupid. It's like I almost can't even believe this is happening. And
he's so close so often. He's like, I can't believe this. Is this real? Is this actually happening? I can't even believe this.
And it's weird that people don't even believe this. And violence after a free movement. What the fuck is this? This is some other shit in another country. That's not my problem. Let's see over here. I'll look at the rest of this. And under audit, thank God. There's going to be a U.S. governments. They're going to be audited to determine actual crypto holdings.
So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin that we believe are in the possession of the federal government. I say we believe because no one really knows for sure because we never.
Say how much?
The possession of the federal government. I say 1,000 Bitcoin. So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin.
200,000. Let's see. Is it still 80?
The possession of the federal government. I say 1,000 Bitcoin. So that's the plan with the.
Does the U.S. government have any crypto holdings? Like in what department? The Treasury? Would they buy crypto? Is that even a thing? Or
200,000 Bitcoin.
200,000. Let's see. Is it still 88,000? Something like that. 88,000.
They want to. Yeah, I know Trump has mentioned it, but seized from criminals. Maybe actually.
Okay. I say we believe because no one really knows for sure because we never had a proper audit. So that's one of the first things that this executive order provides, that we're going to do a full government-wide audit to find out what digital assets we actually have, so they can be safeguarded and moved into a strategy that maximizes their long-term value. So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin.
$100K? Yeah, well, that explains the budget, right? I wouldn't give up any money to the government. I keep all taxes with the states, and the federal government just request money from the states for various purposes. No, because some states can just be dumb as fuck. That's the problem. And if a state's really dumb as fuck, and then everybody's got to pitch in to make sure that they're not stupid, right? That's really what has to happen. I mean, it's annoying, but like that's it. Yeah, California. Well, California is actually California is one of the biggest economies that there is, right? I mean, I feel like there is, and so that's not necessarily what I would say. Let's see. I'll look if there's anything else that's going on before I go to other stuff. Oh my God. This really, bro, if y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out.
Okay. Establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States digital asset stockpile. Oh, awesome. Jesus Christ. My God.
You guys really? I'm okay. I don't know. I feel kind of numb. Do you? Oh yeah. Because it's sad. Like I was really excited about Ben, and I'm just, like, he's such a great person. I just like. What? I just told I.
Why everybody said this was epic and big. This video sucked. I don't care. Okay. Why did we waste our time with this? Oh my God. Destiny really needs some advice right now. Just been handed a letter from my now ex saying we're breaking up and she wants me out of the house. I've struggled with addiction for years and she finally had enough. Take the letter, throw it into ChatGPT, try to find any logical fallacies, have it construct the letter back, and debate her out of it, bro. You can do it. I believe in you. Good luck. The widely used AI agent Manus, recently launched in China, is automating approximately 50 tasks, creating a rather dystopian scenario. Reports suggest it is more accurate than DeepSeek, capable of simultaneously handling SNS analysis, financial transactions, research, purchasing, and much more. These are the people you're fighting with on Twitter.
Very fun guy.
Yeah, why don't we all have this program? Trump reposts an article telling Americans to shut up about egg prices. Oh, the Charlie Kirk one.
With Zelensky, and I want to ask you about Ukraine and the blow up the other day with Zelensky. Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition, because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time.
What happened at day one?
But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer. You know, don't forget,
And I want to ask you about
Metalloid said, Destiny, I've been saying this. They want a slowdown to remove inflation. At the beginning of the stream, somebody asked, why are most economists more libertarian leaning than the average person? Something that I kind of joked about last business cycle. I don't know what you'd say. Over the COVID stuff, one of the things I joked about is one of the reasons why the Federal Reserve targets unemployment and inflation is because high unemployment is really bad, low unemployment is really bad. This is dumb. I was about to say high and low inflation can be bad too. But one of the trade-offs that we made to try to salvage our economy after COVID was a sacrifice that was made was that we had high inflation. Now, from an economic perspective, that was good. It was preferential to have high inflation rather than getting stuck into like a deflationary spiral where unemployment is rising and nobody has money and shit is fucked. And regardless of how you look at it, we came out of COVID fine. Other people want to narrativize it and say it was a disaster, whatever, but it wasn't. It's not the case, especially compared to conservatives saying that like everything is going to be a disaster forever. The whole country is destroyed. Like we've shut down all these businesses. They'll never open. None of that happened. All of that was bullshit. One of the jokes that I made was that unemployment is temporary, but cumulative effects of inflation are forever. When inflation happens, remember, inflation is measuring the rate of change. If you have 10% inflation, that's the rate of change. And then if it goes down to 2%, you still have the cumulative effect of that increased inflation. And I remember one of the jokes I made was, I wonder, even though it's worse for your economy, what if it would be better to just have the Fed target inflation and say, fuck it. Maybe we have 10% unemployment. Who cares? We go through some nasty unemployment, but we keep inflation down, the economy contracts a little bit, and then when things get back on track a year later and unemployment goes down again, Americans are happy and inflation is low. So even though you did the worst thing for your economy, the citizens are happier because they don't have that cumulatively felt effect of inflation, and all the unemployed people now have jobs again, and you know, humans forget things quickly and it's whatever. It'd be interesting if the idea that Trump has now is, well, if we send the economy into a tad bit of a spiral, unemployment might go up, the economy contracts, but at least maybe prices come down. It would be worse for the economy, but the average citizen, assuming the economy rebounds in a year or two, might come away thinking like, oh, cool, prices are lower. Actually, we're all good. I don't know if that would happen. That would be fucking hilariously, wildly fucking insane if that was the case, but I don't know. Why does it seem like a lot of online commentators have opinions on the government, but don't really have any idea how the government works? The government is just like a placeholder for a deep state or a spooky evil thing that does bad stuff that we don't care about, but we don't know what comes from it that's good. That's basically, yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Somebody said that. Inflation is due to government. Unemployed is due to employers. Or people can blame employees. When inflation happens, the only people or the only like bad guy you can point the finger to generally, it may be corporations, but it's the government. People blame the government for inflation. But if you are in a recession and people get unemployed, people can blame employers for firing people, or they can blame employees for being lazy. Oh, you got fired from your job. I didn't get let off from my job. You're a lazy fucking loser. And remember, 10% unemployment is catastrophic, but it's only 10%. It's not like the majority of your voting population is unemployed. So you can still blame individuals and blame employers for that, but it's harder to point your finger at the government, you know? Yeah, I don't know. That would be crazy if that...
It takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer. You know, don't forget,
And I want to ask you about Ukraine.
If anything, high unemployment feels worse. People are just bad at putting it in context. Yes, but unemployment is temporary, right? Unemployment feels worse at that time. But then in a year when people have their jobs again, life goes on and people just don't remember it as much. But inflation and cumulative effects of inflation and high prices, they're much stickier. They stay around longer. And even if you're making more money, the fact that you're paying more for a thing just doesn't feel good, you know? Like somebody earning $100 a month and paying $10 for a hot dog might feel worse if they were earning $150 a month but paying $14 for a hot dog. I don't know if that makes sense. Like people might have a worse feeling about that. Even though they're earning more money than the cost of the hot dog is now, the fact that they remember that hot dog costing $10 and now it costs $14 feels worse, even though they're earning $50 more, 50% more money, and spending 40% more on hot dogs. Especially because as you start to earn more money like that on a monthly basis, you might like acquire more bills. Your disposable income might not change that much because you go from a $1,000 a month apartment to a $1,400 a month apartment. So whatever extra money you're earning isn't even feeling that much because of lifestyle creep. But then when you go to buy goods and services and you see the inflated cost of them, you're like, the fuck, this used to be cheaper, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
When I was watching Tuesday night, I did.
Wages will need to come down too, but I don't see that happening. I don't think employers are able to drop wages because I don't know if employees deal with it well. Like even if it's better for the economy and better for your workforce to drop wages, I think employers prefer to fire people because as an employee, I don't think the American worker, I don't know if it's true for all workers, but I don't think the American worker can ever handle a pay cut. I just don't think that's the thing that employers, it's like not even part of your toolkit. You can't do it. Even if it makes life worse for everybody and makes the economy worse and your company worse, I think you'd rather just fire one person than cut everybody's wages by 2%. You just, the average employee has no tolerance, I think, for wage cuts.
I gotta say, when I was watching Tuesday night, I did see you stand up and applaud at times.
And when you fire people, then you can do wage cuts in a sneakier manner because you can fire somebody earning 100K and rehire somebody for 80K. And now you've effectively cut the wage for that position without anybody necessarily feeling the cut.
I gotta say, when I was watching Tuesday night, I did see you stand up and applaud at times. You were kind of the only person on that side of the room in many cases. Was there a discussion amongst Democrats before or after about how you were going to react and how that reaction was ultimately received?
Shannon, there was a lot of discussion. A few of us said that we should be respectful because it's about the institutions of American democracy. I mean, I want the Republicans to stand when we have a Democratic president, and we will. The parties go back and forth in this country. And what I don't want, I mean, can you imagine if we continue down this line that when we have a Democratic president, what if the Republicans say they're just not going to attend? And then when we have a Republican president, if the Democrats don't attend, the country needs to focus on our common goals and the challenges with China. And I just hope that we learn from this. The next time we do have an escort committee, we stand up respectfully when the president comes in. You can vigorously disagree, as I do, but still respect some of the institutions of our country and some of our traditions.
Do you think that...
Okay.
I gotta say.
Okay. There are longer videos on this that we've got to watch. All right. I'll be back 1 second and we'll do these. Wait. Why do you think political amnesia exists? It seems like people either truly don't care about the issues they say they do, or they're dealing with information overload. I don't know. Politics is complicated. Life is complicated now, okay? There you go. I'll be back in a sec.
Don't tell me I'm the first one here.
Can we help you?
It's Will. I was at the party last year.
Oh, yeah, Will.
We actually canceled 4th of July this year, though.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got like really out of hand last year, so we're just keeping it low key.
Yep, just doing yard work with the missus.
Bummer. Okay, I'll call an Uber then.
I'm sorry. I think Mickey's has like a darts
Oh,
tournament.
it's 10 minutes away.
Well, you don't have to wait out here, but why don't you come inside?
Sure, I'd love to. Where it all happened. Oh, dude, this is where that guy passed out last year, remember? And I colored in the white spots on his eyes with a Sharpie and that EMT freaked out on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was a prick.
Did you want any water or lemonade?
4 boxes of pizza for 2 people gardening.
Yeah, Amber's parents were in town last night, so we ordered some za.
Oh, good God, dude. What are you gardening out there? You trying to dig the China, Mike?
Oh, that's Parmesan from the pizza.
You can have some if you want, so.
No way. Oh, this is the beer pong table from last year that I dunked on, remember? And it collapsed on that chick's seeing eye dog or whatever.
No, that's a coffee table. We had to get rid of the other table. It broke and the dog blood.
I'm gonna take a leak.
Actually, not that door.
Huh?
It's just down the hall.
If this isn't the bathroom, then where did I throw up last year?
Can you please just not open that door?
Jesus, it took us 5 minutes to wrangle him up. It's okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You can just run around in the yard. It's fine.
I'm sorry. Hey, buddy! Oh my God, this place is fucking cash, dude. Dude, this place is fucking cash. Hey, you guys should be locked up keeping this all to yourselves. I'll tell you, that is some garden you got back there. You guys gonna grow any,
You know, we don't really smoke.
Mike, we got a blaze.
I don't really.
Oh, really? We got a blaze, man. Like, my buddy from Brentwood High has a strain that's,
You know, fine. Yeah, I can blaze, right? I can bend the rules a little bit.
That's a 4th of July streamer. That's gotta be from last year's 4th of July. That's a sign. We got a shotgun. Come on.
Well.
I'm gonna do the honors. All right. Yeah, well, oh, that never gets old. You know, everyone I texted about today is out of town. It almost doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I know, right? It must be like a travel weekend or something.
Yeah, you know, I'm starting to think you guys didn't fuck with me low-key, but you've really made me feel like a part of the family. Thanks again, man. A lot of fun.
Yeah, we will definitely do this again soon, okay? Get home safe.
Absolutely.
You forgot the beer that you left in the back.
You know what? Keep it. My gift to you guys.
Please, just one more shotgun.
I've taken up enough of your time, Amber. I really gotta get going. Oh no! You guys are here for the party. Guys, they made the same mistake as me. Yeah, I'll give them the bad news. Sorry, ladies, there's no party. You said the party was canceled, right? That's what you said?
Yeah. No party.
Yep, you heard the man. Better turn it around.
You know what, Will? Maybe let those girls figure out their own plans. I'm sure your Uber's around the corner. So
It's not. It's not coming because I never called an Uber. Where are they? Huh? Under the patio? In the bushes?
What do you want?
You know exactly what I want.
Please, it's just a small get-together with close friends.
Cool. I don't care.
Fuck this.
Why do you even want to stay here if you know nobody wants you?
I don't care. Kobe!
You guys better subscribe to this fucking channel.
Is going to agree with you. Shocker. I've learned this better than anyone because I have a YouTube channel talking about serious subjects here and on the Clips channel. And I get comments from all sides telling me different opposing point of views. Sometimes nice, sometimes not. And I'm well aware of it. When it comes to what I'm going to talk about in this video, I truly am an...
Why do you think people fully ignore 40-plus page plan documents from Trump's circle and then have that have detailed plans on what Trump admin will do and then act shocked when they do it? Is the media actually this stupid? What do you mean? I don't think anybody's shocked. The left media already thinks he's going to do it. The right media just denies it. And then when he does do it, they go, so? Oh, wait. Actually, before we do the Atrioc thing, apparently Denims said that she had no idea about like the CPS stuff. She'd never talked about it, never heard it before, had no clue.
But yeah, they're saying that like
Denims denies having any role in CPS being called to Ethan and Hila.
apparently the call was from someone who knew them, or at least the CPS agents that ended up showing up
We watched this.
said that.
But then apparently somebody found a deleted VOD where there was just one deleted video, I guess. Can't do reduced bans on mobile. Wait, you can. Wait, why do we ban stuff like this? Wait, I wonder if we were too strict in our rules. Hold on. Why can't I copy paste from this computer to the other? Somebody apparently went through her VODs and they found there was one. This is like, I think the only deleted VOD.
shit in their house. And then Denims hosts this and see what she said.
Oh, no, wait. The thread's not removed. The poster is just banned. Is he currently? Oh, no, he's not even banned. Wait, what the fuck is this showing me? Wait, forget anything I just said. Never mind. Is this just showing me the last ban that happened? Because it seems like the person's not banned right now. March 7th, March 8th. Damn, how's this guy getting modded so much? What the fuck? Okay, I don't know. Never mind. Jesus. He is posting a lot.
And then now we wonder why people are calling Child Protective Services.
But they called it before I even did this stream.
But not before Denims did this
He lets
stream.
his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it, or if it's just from like,
I can't
contact
pause
with it
because
their
I
hands or
interacted
something,
with
but
this.
They contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called...
Can I just say how crazy it is that Reddit has created a wrapper for what I'm assuming is just the default HTML5 whatever video player in Chrome that has less features than the actual default player? What the fuck? Okay, CPS, social services. Bro, someone needs to unironically call CPS. That's child endangerment. Okay, if his kids have Giardia, they actually need to be taken away. Ethan isn't only sexualizing underage girls, he's also neglecting children. It can be deadly to children. His youngest baby contracted Giardia, and his entire family has it now because of their rescue dog, and he was shitting all over the house. Giardia babies in a mansion. Holy shit, Marks would love this.
Giardia from
Is it
the dog
Giardia?
shit that is all
Giardia?
over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have Mold Mondays. Now we
Also, yeah, remember, my viewers are the unhinged ones, by the way, but okay.
have Shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay. No problem. A child, a small infant
What does this have to do with anything?
that has no immune system shouldn't be catching anything.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew, playing...
No wonder this motherfucker is always sick. Yeah. Yeah, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening? How is it happening? How is this happening?
Look into Ethan Klein's been up to. Takes off mask. Watches Bad Empanada spew baseless rumors with no evidence. And she would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for these meddling clips. Good job. I've never even heard of this. How does this even happen? Giardia, or is it Giardia? Infection is an intestinal infection marked by stomach cramps, bloating, nausea, bouts of watery diarrhea. Giardia infection is caused by a microscopic parasite that's found worldwide, especially it's one of the most common causes of waterborne disease in the U.S. Parasites also found. Infection usually clears up within a few weeks, but you may have intestinal problems long after the parasites are gone. Several products are generally effective, but not every response to them. I feel like most parasites die like really easily to ivermectin. One of the reasons why I think people jerk off, oh, it's safe for COVID, is I'm pretty sure ivermectin is like insanely effective against most parasites, I think, or at least most of the common ones. Like you take like two, like in House, you know, every now and then, I think it happened in the first episode, he's like, take 2 pills and you're cured. And I think for a lot of this parasitic shit, it's that easy. Parasites they're weak and they die easily. Maybe. I don't know if that's true for all of them, but genuinely, if illegals help the economy, how do you square that with also thinking borders are important? Wouldn't you be pro-open borders? What? That's like saying if I think that having friends over at my house for a party is fun, how do I square that with having a door to my apartment? I think we should let more people into the country to work legally, and I think the people that are here should be made legal. I think borders are important because it's important to know who's coming in and out of your country, and it probably blocks some people from coming into your country. What do you mean? Do you wash your hands after touching your street shoes, tying your laces, for example? I don't know how, but I picked up some, I wouldn't say clean freak stuff from Melina, but Melina was like, I don't want to say OCD, but close to like compulsive on hand washing stuff. But now usually like anytime I'm outside, if I come in afterwards, I'll like wash my hands when I come in. Holy shit, Destiny. The AirPod Pros just moved between my devices. Like, holy shit, this is incredible. Wow, welcome to the walled garden. Don't anarcho-capitalists say open borders are good? Most libertarians and anarcho-capitalists, that's the easy litmus test question. They're just conservatives, but they like weed. But if you ask a libertarian, how do you feel about open borders? And they, oh, no, we need to have a very strict border policy. Then it's okay, you're not a libertarian, you're just a conservative. But you like weed. That's all that means. Or you're a conservative, but you want to be cool. And conservatism was like cringe, so you call yourself libertarian. Fucking retarded. Have you ever been in Hassan's house? Is it true that all of his doors are like this? Oh, also real quick. Now that I have more viewers, this is a quick thing. Email me if you have information on this, okay? For the studio downstairs, I think that for my background, for the walls, I don't want to just have those black walls. I want to have, I was looking at this website, okay, called the Wood Veneer Hub. All right, whatever the fuck this is. I think having these walls for my background would look nice, but I want to use some of these walls set up as like a room divider. How would I install these on a room divider? What would I get to like install something like this on like a divider? If you know how to do this, please email me. Give me guidance, okay? I'll love you a long time. Those are facades. You need a wall. Thanks, genius. That's why I just asked how I can install these as a room divider, okay? What do you mean by a room divider? As in, I imagine that there's something I can get, some divider I can get that I can attach these to without needing an actual wall there. I could like set them against the current soundproof things I have, but it feels like a huge waste of money because those are like $1,500 a piece, and to just use them as a leaning station for a wooden wall just seems like really wasteful in money. What do you think of the U.S. enacting all these tariffs to stop being a net importer? Reading up on it seems like it's a way to reduce the strain on the U.S. being the de facto reserve currency. What? Don't we want us to be a reserve currency? Hello?
And women need sex to live together. It solves all disputes.
Oh, like Barney's theory about world peace?
So I explained to her, I said, Madeline, every single international conflict essentially boils down to sexual tension.
Every international conflict?
Every single one, dude.
So the crisis in the Middle East could be solved by...
Gaza strippers. Next.
Apartheid?
Apart thighs. What else you got?
Cold War.
Mrs. Gorbachev, take down those pants.
Absolutely fucking epic. Okay. Has DGG ever done something as unhinged as trying to get someone's kids taken away? How is it the DGG are the evil people online, but Assange's community is normal? I don't know, bro. It's unhinged. But typically, when you're fostering those types of communities, there are certain types of communities. We have an unhinged behavior. You have an unhinged behavior. And your guys' unhinged behavior is that when somebody who's not super well versed in politics gives takes on politics, you guys become unhinged and you are way too cruel and way too mean about it. But in terms of like doxing people or being like obsessively like personal farming drama heavy, that's just not, my community just doesn't, we just don't do that. It's just not the style of the community as much. But whatever.
Terrible. We crashed this compound. We played to win. We played to win, boys. Not to survive. We're crashing it. Has to be done. At least 2 people in this compound, 100%.
Wait, what happened? Sorry, hold on.
People in this compound, 100%.
Rip. Destiny, what about Trump's planned attempts on getting foreign countries to swap their dollars for 100-year non-tradable bonds? A bit nutty, right? Yeah, that would be crazy. There's no way they would do that, right? That would never be the thing. That's what you want me to say. And then you're going to go, actually, Destiny, that's exactly what they want you to do. That's why I've been linking you the same 40-page fucking thing for days over and over and over again. What is the goal for me to read this? Why would you, like, even if they do everything in here, it doesn't matter. There's no, like, oh, I'm going to call what they're doing. Most people will say no on the other side. People on the left will go, oh, probably. And then when they do it on the right, they go, oh, so what? Like, I just don't care. I don't have the time or the desire to read this whole fucking 40-page thing. I don't care. What do we say? Why do we say that communism doesn't work? Because of a calculation problem. But why can't something like market socialism work? I mean, Vietnam works. Market socialism is not real socialism, okay? That's a cringe halfway point because you realize socialism is cringe and lame. Okay. What is this?
Be part of Crimea. Tell me.
Thank you for auto-muting Reddit. I don't know why you do it, but I love it when you do it.
Want to be part of Crimea? Tell me right now.
Every poll that we have.
Don't let him pivot away. He never answered the question.
We have.
No. He never answered. The question was, what security guarantees can we give Ukraine? He's like, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. We can't do this. You didn't give an answer. Your answer is no security guarantee. Okay, but this is. You said when you opened this shit that Trump was serious. That this was serious negotiation. That they're being serious in their negotiating. And then he comes out here with a 24-hour peace deal. Was never serious. You come forward. We're waiting for a serious proposal, and you have none.
No. There is a serious proposal for peace. What I'm saying is that.
Security guarantees.
No.
Then it isn't peace. Then you don't want peace. You're lying. Without security guarantees, there is no peace. There will never be peace without security guarantees. Whoever tells you that is a fucking liar who doesn't care about Ukraine. They just want to hold a piece of paper, be Never Chamberlain, say, yeah, look at me, I'm such a peacemaker. Blackwood, fuck you. You don't care.
Exactly.
Full debate.
You come forward, we're waiting for a serious...
Okay, if we want to torture ourselves later, maybe. Jesus. Okay, no more videos for real, guys. Fuck. I don't know if we can watch the Atrioc one.
Incapable of doing what you might call steel manning the opposing argument. I can't figure it out. I can't...
Atrioc to me is like the best of like the independent researcher guys because like I feel like he doesn't always get the right answer. Obviously we disagree on things, but like he has some foundation of knowledge to understand the concepts at least, and he like shows his thought process and he has like articles that he's linking and everything. I wish that more people did stuff like this, but
understand how anyone could think a strategic crypto reserve containing the tokens that I'm going to talk about is anything remotely more than a grift. Now, I'll give you the backstory, I'll give you the history, and I'll explain it all. But before that, I have much better news.
Never mind, I hate Atrioc. What a dog shit fucking YouTuber. Never liked him, always hated him. Fuck him.
New podcast featuring me, Doug, and Aiden called Lemonade Stand, which is going to be in your inboxes today. Go check it out. I think the world needed another 3 white guys podcast in LA.
I also feel like it's really hard to find people who can be critical of some of the crazy stuff Trump does that aren't like wokies, right? Like, can we get somebody who is critical of Trump stuff just from like a purely economic, maybe even government standpoint, who isn't like super triggered on trans stuff or something, you know?
But I'm being serious. It's such a blast to record. We've done some test episodes, we've done this one, and I think you really might enjoy it. Please check out Lemonade Stand. But now, let me take you back to 2019. In 2019, Donald J. Trump said, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money, and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. This is one of Trump's most base takes of all time. I agree with this so hard. He said, and I quote, investing in crypto hurts the United States currency. We should be invested in our own currency. Bitcoin seems like a scam, and the euphoria around this currency is watering down the US dollar. Based. Then, in this recent election cycle, something changed. He became extremely, comically pro-crypto. It may have something to do with the large amount of donations made by the crypto industry. I promise to make America great again, this time with crypto. World Liberty Financial, he's a large investor in it, is planning to help make America the crypto capital of the world. The whitelist for eligible persons officially, this is a sponsored tweet. This is a presidential sponsored tweet in September 2024. He said, I would like to wish our great Bitcoiners a happy 16th anniversary of Snowshoe's white paper. We will end Kamala's war on crypto, Bitcoin, a decentralized...
That's another $500 I would pay to be in a room where somebody asks Donald Trump, and so many questions. Who is Satoshi? What is a white paper? What is crypto? What do you think the blockchain is? What's an NFT?
Global digital currency will be made in the USA. And upon getting into office, he followed through on a lot of these promises, essentially by making crypto very deregulated. The way he made crypto great again was to remove all the rules and restrictions on it, which again, I am not a fan of, but it played out very predictably. The general idea is with no rules in place, the scams went crazy. The amount of meme coins went off the charts, a lot of retail investors lost money, and then what happened relatively recently was they started to pull their money out of crypto. We started to see Bitcoin doing a big slide, all the altcoins doing a big slide, because the people have been rug pulled so often, they were getting out. So in a way, Trump's problem solved itself. He made it so appealing to scam that the scams drove people away.
I listen to Bloomberg Radio most mornings going to work, and I feel like they do a good job simply reporting the economic impacts without being ideologically compromised. Yeah, Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg are even considered like center-right leaning, although I think Trump has been attacking them lately. But it's funny, yeah, because Kara Swisher was talking about it, that, who was it? Somebody was talking about how like we need to make Bezos is like the Washington Post is going to be writing about stuff centered on like liberty and capitalism or free markets. I was like, what? The Wall Street Journal already exists. The Economist already exists. Bloomberg already exists. You think the Washington Post is going to have an op-ed section competing in business with the Financial Times, with Bloomberg, with the Wall Street Journal? What the fuck are you even trying to do? Why?
Maybe it worked. Maybe I disagree with his methods, but it worked. But then, a few days ago, something got posted on Trump's Truth Social that kind of actually gave me like this like pit in my stomach. It actually made me like feel very uncomfortable. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and ADA.
Like, people were talking about a person running the White House under Biden, that it wasn't Biden doing it. Donald Trump didn't write or understand a single part of this tweet. Not a single part. Donald Trump has no clue what XRP, SOL, ADA, he has no clue what any of this shit is. Who's writing these tweets for him? He had no hand in writing a single fucking word for this. Carpenter here, you can install them on an accordion divider that extends floor to ceiling, 7-inch for tolerance. Listen, email me the thing on how to do it, okay? You could also do a ceiling track. I can't do a ceiling track, I don't think. It's an apartment. I don't think I can install shit like that. And it sounds too hard, and fuck that.
To move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and ADA. He followed it up. after some panic from Bitcoin owners. And obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum, as other valuable cryptocurrencies, will also be at the heart of the reserve. I love Bitcoin and Ethereum. Overall, a massive presidential pump of these assets. Immediately, crypto prices spiked as they talked about these tokens being included in a national crypto strategic reserve. A strategic reserve requires us using taxpayer money to buy these tokens. By the way, we're a deficit nation, so we run out of taxpayer money every billing cycle. So this is actually going out to the rest of the world.
Like, it sounds so stupid. It sounds so stupid, but just like the fact that Atrioc just said that, right? We're a deficit nation. We run out of money every billing cycle. It's true. It's just like having like a foundation of knowledge, just a foundation of knowledge to begin to have the conversation is just so nice. The fact that like people like Jordan Peterson don't have a high school level of knowledge on almost anything, which is surprising given he was not a clinician, right? I don't think he did a psychiatry thing, but he went through psychology, right? All through a PhD level program. And Jordan Peterson doesn't sound like he even understands high school stats, right? Let alone anything having to do with the economy. Listening to that Pierre guy talk to Jordan Peterson, and for the very first time, it feels like both of them are discovering this concept of worker productivity and comparative advantage. Like, yeah, come on, bro. You're like, you get paid millions of dollars for these podcasts and shit. How do you not know any of this? I appreciate this so much. Ugh.
And issuing IOUs to borrow money to buy 3 shitty crypto tokens plus Bitcoin plus...
To my knowledge, they have said that the reserve will be paid with all the cuts they will make on government, not with taxpayer money. That's not how that works, my friend. You can't pay for things with money that you've saved off of a thing. This is the joke I made before, where somebody goes to the store and they're like, okay, I want to spend $100 on really nice blankets, but there's this quilt or blanket. I don't know. Fuck blankets. I don't know all the different blankets, okay? Here are blankets for $99, but here are blankets for $200 that originally cost $400, but they're on sale. Now, I could be a sucker and buy the $100 blankets, or I could buy the $200 blankets, and I've saved $200. Does that mean that you've walked out of the store spending nothing because you saved as much as you spent? No, that's not how that works. We're still a deficit country. We borrow to pay for our, the bill every year by the federal government. So if you manage to cut a little bit of what we're spending, we're still borrowing to pay the bill. You're not saving money such that you can like return it to taxpayers in the form of a check or spend that money elsewhere. You're still borrowing.
Ethereum. That his kids and advisors hope. Now, what was extra bad about this is that the day before this announcement, somebody went 50x long, a massive, highly leveraged bet with $4 million on exactly this happening.
I wish I knew what this meant more. Like, what are you trading to have a 50x leverage? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that he was just able to trade on, for $4 million, it would be, with $4 million, he was able to do a $200 million, like, on margin? Is that what that means? Or how is he, what is his 50x leverage? What does that mean exactly? Options? Is that what that means? Long options. Are you creating a position though with option? I can't tell who's just talking shit or not. I shouldn't have asked this question in chat. I'm sorry, because everybody's typing the random fucking bullshit without having any idea. Like, do you create a position with options? Is that true? Like, if I buy 100 contracts for puts or calls to sell or buy some security at some bullshit in the future, have I created that position in the future? Is that how you would describe that? Watch a video. Well, I don't even know what I would look for. You borrow 50x of money invested. Okay, yeah, so that's what so is this just a huge margin position you're allowed to have open, I guess? No. It's direct leverage by purchasing the asset and using the purchased asset to collateralize loans internal to a platform's trading engine. Okay, so it's just, this is margin that he's getting. And for whatever reason, crypto platforms allow you to have an unbelievable amount of margin, I guess. Or maybe this particular trader has an unbelievable amount of margin. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jesus.
Somebody on the inside seemed to know this was going to happen. This level of corruption is not normal. Mark Hodes is a guy I really respect. He's a bit crazy. He's a bit of an old crotchety man. He is the one that exposed the SBF fraud. He's the first person to call out SBF for what he was, a massive grifter. Mark Hodes said, "No need to worry. There will now be a crypto reserve of worthless garbage." Brought to you by a South African pump and dump artist named David Sachs. So let's get into David Sachs real quick. This is David Sachs.
BitMEX allows 100x margin. I use it all the time. Okay, based.
David Sachs is America's new crypto czar. Apparently, we need an official person in charge of crypto. If you've heard David Sachs' name before, maybe it's from his podcast, or maybe it's from the fact we covered him on this channel back during the Silicon Valley Bank bailout. He was one of the...
Wait, somebody says BitMEX allows 200x, not 100x. Even more based. All right.
world's whiniest billionaires begging for Silicon Valley Bank to get bailed out. Because he'd made an investment in it. He basically said, if the government doesn't come in and bail out this bank, the whole economy will crash.
Wait, is oh, and you're just paying interest on the borrowed money, basically. Okay.
The crisis will spread. He was on podcasts, on TV shows, on the news, on social media, constantly begging for a personal bailout, essentially, of his Silicon Valley Bank money. Well, it turns out, as crypto czar, he has a couple conflicts of interest we might want to know about. The main one being his big investment in Bitwise Asset Management. Bitwise Asset Management holds a bunch of crypto tokens. What do you think are the 5 biggest holdings in Bitwise Asset Management? Could it perhaps be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, and XRP? Could it be the exact bags that are just getting pumped by Donald Trump? Do you think?
Wait, do we know if the original motherfuckers at Mt. Gox, did they make a lot of money on all that crypto? I got my Mt. Gox coin paid, and it was not anywhere near. I was hoping it would be at current prices, but it was like older prices. I think I got like $1,200 or some bullshit. And I was like, I thought I would get like $300,000 for my 3 Bitcoin. Fuck you.
It's perhaps possible that Donald Trump doesn't even know about XRP, Sol, and ADA, and perhaps this legislation is drafted by his crypto czar that's pumping his own bags? Marco Hoax, back to him. Again, the guy that exposed SBF has been talking about this conflict of interest for a long time. In fact, this is a tweet from late 2024 when he sent evidence to SEC about David Sachs being deeply involved in the development of Solana, owning a bunch of hidden and secret Solana that he's trying to pump. In fact, if you look through their terrible all-in podcast, you might find some clips that are pretty damning in hindsight.
Sachs, I gotta say, I think your AUM is positively correlated with the bags under your eyes.
If you mean it's getting bigger, you're correct.
I mean, fuck, they're heavy. Good Lord. They're heavy, dragging you down. That's where you're hiding all that Solana, in your fucking, under your eyes. You better clear that Solana position. What's your lockup, 24 months? Fuck no, he's trying to sell it to me on text message. Yeah, of course he is. We're negotiating discounts. I just had to
Hey, you're fucking the whole thing up.
Bro, you don't think...
I'm hodling.
You think I buy hundreds of millions of dollars of anything without a discount? Everything is a discount.
Everything's discounted. You want to clear that position in an LLC?
Are you saying I got $1 billion of Solana?
No, bro, I'm saying I have one. But, I bought it at a discount.
But you're holding, correct?
Ish.
Yes, okay. Yeah, me too.
So these fucking rich guy douchebag Silicon Valley scumbags have acquired massive positions in the very coins they are now using their political influence to get us to bail out as taxpayers. There is no benefit to you or me or any regular American Republican or Democrat.
I also filed a dispute. Waiting now on my Bitcoin back should be around 30 for Mt. Gox. No, hold on. You're saying you should check the Mt. Gox claims page. You can file a dispute and get your money in Bitcoin back. You don't get paid back in Bitcoin. You get paid back in USD based on the value of the Bitcoin like 10 years ago or whenever Mt. Gox went under. You don't get paid back in Bitcoin. That would be base, but that's not how they paid back, unfortunately.
Taxpayers. There is no benefit to you or me or any regular American Republican or Democrat. These guys flip sides based on whatever way the wind is blowing to make money. David Sachs donated a bunch of money to Gavin Newsom. He was anti-Trump before, now he's pro. Whatever way makes him money. And as in recent months, Bitcoin was dropping and all these bags were dropping, they needed a bailout. They needed a fucking turnaround, which came with this random Sunday night tweet.
Bro, offering margin on trading platforms has to be fucking free money for the people running these platforms. Because of the volatility of these instruments, I imagine they probably don't even margin call. They probably just close your position, huh? Like, considering how volatile the investments are, especially if you're 100, 200x leveraged, your position just probably gets closed instantly. They just keep your money.
By Donald Trump to pump all of these very specific niche currencies, none of which are big enough to be a strategic reserve, all of which would be massively moved by the price of America getting involved. Peter Schiff.
Maker fees are 0% on certain platforms with 400x leverage. How do they make their money then?
None of which are big enough to be a strategic reserve, all of which would be massively moved by the price of America getting involved. Peter Schiff pointed this out. Now, Peter Schiff is a really principled thinker, a guy I really respect. And just to be clear, for anyone accusing him of being partisan, this guy's been in financial markets for 40 years. This guy voted for Donald Trump. But even Peter Schiff can't help but say, this is the biggest crypto rug pull of all time. A pump and dump scheme. Who authored these 2 Sunday afternoon posts? Who knew about them in advance? How much money would those investors spend buying XRP, ADA, Sol, BTC, Ethereum? We need these emails and text messages to find out what level of scam we're dealing with here. David Sachs, our crypto czar, responded by clutching his pearls. Huh, the accusation, the mere thought that someone like me, who's already very successful in business, would go into government to make more money is a lazy and stupid narrative. Interesting.
Volatility is good for traders and not for brokers. Brokers want low volatility so that they can farm them for interest, at least on actual brokers, not crypto bullshit. I feel like that's probably true for actual margins that you would like realistically trade on margin with. But if you're allowing somebody to leverage up 100 or 200x, I imagine that the interest on that can be insanely high, like very quickly. And then if they can close your position, whatever position they close, I imagine they get to collect their interest fee from you before they pay you back. So you just make money instantly on your client. I can imagine for traditional brokers, you want them to hold those positions open for as long as possible because the longer they hold them, the more interest you can collect. But for crypto shit, that interest, I imagine, builds up very fucking fast given that it's 100x, 200x position. Although I guess if it builds up fast, you'd want them to hold it longer too. So actually, I guess maybe, yeah. I'm just thinking for the average trader, the thing is that my guess, man, I'm guessing a lot here because I don't do these types of trades, but my guess is on an ordinary website that allows you to trade on margin, I imagine they have like margin call thresholds where they'll make a margin call and give you an opportunity to deposit a little bit more to add liquidity to your account so that you're at whatever threshold they want you to be at to keep your positions open. But I imagine on these crypto exchanges, there is none of that bullshit. Because if you're 100x leveraged and you have to maintain some percentage of your account, if that dips even a little bit, does the average person who's leveraged up that high have the capital to make that account satisfied? I imagine probably not. And I don't know if you would even want to risk, if you have a 100x, 200x leveraged account, you're not going to sit there and wait for them to add liquidity to the account because you might be out a whole bunch of money if you're the exchange, is my guess. I'm guessing out here, so I don't know.
Interesting. To a person, all the billionaires that I've met serving in government are doing it for one reason. They absolutely love the country and want to make it great again. To do that, we have to drain the swamp and the massive government corruption that's in plain sight. I agree. There is some government corruption in plain sight that we need to get rid of. It's just interesting that you take this position that people who are civil...
Someone said you don't get calls in crypto, it's direct liquidation. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me just because of how fast, especially if so many people, especially I'm always guessing. If you're in a crypto market that allows for 100x, 200x positions, then it's probably really scary because I imagine like flash crashes can happen because as prices go down, once you're getting margin called on and these positions that are 100, 200x liquidated are getting called, I imagine, boom, there's like a ton of like places that are selling a fuck ton of shit real fast to liquidate those positions. And you might have dramatic swings very quickly. But I don't know, I don't know what percentage of all of the open like stuff on the books is on these like really long, super over leveraged positions. I don't know.
Some government corruption in plain sight that we need to get rid of. It's just interesting that you take this position that people who are civil in business would never go into government to make more money, when just a few years ago, you said essentially the opposite. The problem with government as a capital allocator is the money goes to special interests who have the ability to lobby, but not to innovate. That's just so interesting that your position has changed so dramatically. Many people spoke out against this who have careers in finance. U.S. president pumping minor cryptocurrencies like $22 billion ADA while his kids cash in. It's just so unbelievable. The U.S. is not being led by billionaires, being led by thieves. Even Naval, again, Trump supporter. The U.S. taxpayer should not be exit liquidity for cryptocurrencies that are decentralized in name only. As Trump said in the very beginning, it makes no fucking sense. We have the world reserve currency. Borrowing in that currency to buy a fucking worthless on-air cryptocurrency that pumps somebody's bags is fucking crazy. All this is naked grift. It is just taking our money and giving it to people that own Solana and ADA and BTC and Ethereum. It's crazy. A strategic oil reserve might make sense. A strategic gold reserve could make sense. A strategic fucking Solana reserve is just bailing out Solana owners. It feels really shitty to be in a country doing this. I don't know how to tell you. It feels shitty. And I want to tell you a quote that I had from weeks ago before this happened. As I've said over and over again, any state government or U.S. government creating a Bitcoin reserve is going to be a catalyst for me to consider leaving the country. And I said I would never. I said I had the whole thing with Aiden. I actually think that is an end game clock on this. I said I would never. Or U.S. government creating a Bitcoin reserve is going to be a catalyst for me to consider leaving the country. And I said I would never. I said I had the whole thing with Aiden. I actually think that is an end game clock on the sanctity of our money. It is essentially a taxpayer bailout of Bitcoin owners. It actually is one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. And that's when I thought it was only Bitcoin, let alone fucking Solana. My only hope.
How long does Atrioc stream per day? He's super good at creating these videos. It's like good. They're good segments. They're very, like, has a story, like beginning, middle, end, calls back to prior streams and stuff.
Is that this is a transparent pump and dump by David Sachs and Trump's kids to enrich themselves on the idea of the strategic reserve without it actually passing. That's the best I can hope for. People from any political background, people who I've seen openly stump for Trump were like, there's no good from this. This is crazy. This is fucking terrible. I couldn't find anyone with a positive spin. It's so transparent who wins and who loses. And who loses is you and
maybe 2 to 3 hours per stream. About 2 hours a stream. Okay, makes sense.
Me. Anyone paying taxes, anyone who works for dollars. Again, I want
streams are basically just pre-planned YouTube videos to be cut up. Yeah. August kind of wants me to do stuff like this. It's just hard to when I stream for 8 hours to be able to create like kind of more punchy videos like this.
Reiterate that we are a massive deficit nation. Joe Biden did no help to our deficit, and Trump is making it even worse. We are just borrowing money to pump the bags of
One thing that's very annoying, and I'm not faulting Atrioc for not going into a huge like analysis of the deficit here, but a lot of the debt that Biden had to take on wasn't just because of the COVID recovery. It was paying interest on the prior debt that Trump had racked up, plus the increased deficit that we had to endure because of the Trump tax cuts that were all throughout the Biden admin. I think it might have, somebody can, I don't know if there's a longer article I read on this or somebody has a link to it, but I think that the majority of the increase in deficit, or it might have been the majority of the entire deficit, budget deficit, was due to the prior behavior of the Trump tax cuts, plus the additional interest that was accrued on all of the extra Trump money that was borrowed during his admin, with some of the money in the last year being understandable because of COVID, even though Trump would never grant, or MAGA would never grant that same understanding to Biden. But
Joe Biden did no help to our deficit, and Trump is making it even worse. We are just borrowing money to pump the bags of a few rich crypto owners. It's crazy. And I don't think Trump knows shit about XRP or Solana. But I'll tell you,
I know he's made me, but don't U.S. citizens get taxed even if they're out of the country? Don't you have to renounce your citizenship? Something like that. But I think you have like $150,000 of leeway there, although he is definitely making more than that, so I don't know.
Few rich crypto owners. It's crazy. And I don't think Trump knows shit about XRP or Solana. But I'll tell you who does is Eric Trump. This guy's been going to crypto conference after crypto conference and speaking and talking about how good it's about to be for crypto. When this happened, he tweeted instantly and gleefully, "I love the genius of announcing a strategic reserve on a Sunday when traditional markets are closed and Wall Street sleeps. For the first time, retail investors win." I don't know if retail investors win. I do know that you win.
Remember, the number one way to know if somebody's full of shit, okay? Retail investors never win. If you're a retail investor, you are always losing. Retail investors are people that go to casinos and they play table games. It's cool to go there. You can have fun. And every now and then, a couple might win. But for the most part, retail investors are losers. Everybody knows it, except for retail investors for some reason.
When Wall Street sleeps. For the first time, retail investors win. I don't know if retail investors win. I do know that you win. As someone who's frequently tweeted about the holdings of World Liberty Financial, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, and ADA. I can tell that you win personally. And you, having advanced knowledge, being Donald Trump's son, have a huge conflict of interest. At the same time, it's funny. Because while all of these things did pump, you can see this here, they all started to slide again after the backlash was so strong. The markets are pricing in that this might not even happen because the backlash is so extreme. Because David Sachs is already deleting old posts to hide the paper trail of him to all of these currencies. But even still, this pump...
Sorry, that is true. Maybe I should clarify from Rugal and Kick Chat. Retail investors can win, retail traders lose. If you want to be more nuanced, that would be true, sure.
Already deleting old posts to hide the paper trail of him to all of these currencies. But even still, this pump alone made people a ton of money who were inside the information. At the same time, we've got Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy guy, from Max Stupid video.
Wait. Somebody Kick Chat said, nobody is buying these shit coins with government money. That part of the reserve, there are two parts, will only be fed with seized funds. The other reserve, Bitcoin and Ethereum, can only increase with budget neutral purchases, which won't happen with a $32 trillion debt. So be careful. A budget neutral purchase can happen even when you're on a deficit, because if you pair an expenditure with a savings, you're allowed to call that budget neutral, because it's true, even if you still have a deficit. So let's say, for instance, I have to borrow $1,000 this month to survive on my credit card or whatever. But let's say that I'm going to, but let's say while I borrow this $1,000, let's say I also want to spend $100 on a PS5 game. Well, let's say I say, okay, I'm going to drink $100 less Starbucks this month. That I would be allowed to do that. That's a budget neutral expenditure because I've paired my PS5 purchase with cutting back $100 worth of hot chocolates. Even though I'm borrowing $1,000 for that month, I can still call that expenditure budget neutral. That's what the IRA was. The Inflation Reduction Act was called that because the Inflation Reduction Act was an investment in infrastructure, I think mainly, but it was offset by cost-cutting measures over the next 10 years so that it's supposed to be budget neutral, right?
As Bitcoin continues to fall, going on CNBC saying you should sell a kidney to buy Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin's going to reach 20 trillion, then 200 trillion, just massively begging, pushing, grifting to try and get regular people to buy back in so that his bags can stay full because he has taken on an enormous amount of debt to buy Bitcoin at like 90K. As it
Wait, it's correct that most of the initial Bitcoins will come from seizures that have been made by government. This is about 200K of Bitcoin. They want to store it all in one location. Wait, our government has 200,000 Bitcoin? Wait, what does Bitcoin trade at right now? Let's assume 80K. 16 billion. That's a decent amount of money still. Does our government currently have $16 billion worth of Bitcoin? Is that true? Yeah, from drug dealers, etc. Oh, the whole Silk Road stuff. Maybe. How does one seize Bitcoin? That's a good question, actually. Do they consider it seized when they just have like the keys to like a cold wallet or something, or the passwords to like an account on an exchange, or do they actually transfer it to a government wallet?
It falls under 90K, he's at risk of losing his whole company. We're getting grifted left, right, and center. And finally, to cap off a week of absolutely horrendous crypto grift, this guy, Justin Sun. Someone made this work of art of a banana duct taped to a wall. He bought it for $6.2 million and then ate it.
I still can't believe I hate this guy so much. Who's the leftist on Twitter? He used to be the guy that always went, "That's right." What's his name? Who remembers him? Medlock. This motherfucker. This guy, I can't believe this crypto dude actually took this bet. Oh, fuck, this is an older one. Some crypto retard made a public offer to bet somebody. And it was a stupid bet too. Wasn't it like 1,000 to 1? Didn't he bet like $100 against $1 million that the US economy would enter hyperinflation? It was a really stupid bet from the crypto guy. And then this guy managed to get on it first, the Medlock dude. And then, yeah, he just got a cool $1 million. Or wait, or was it the bet was like 1 Bitcoin versus his $1 million because he thought that Bitcoin would be worth $1 million because of fucking... Fuck this guy. He's so lucky. This guy usually does decent Twitter takes, although he's to the left of me for sure.
He bought it for $6.2 million and then ate it.
Medlock made the offer, Balaji took it? Really? I thought the other guy made the offer. There's no way Medlock made that offer first, right? Because that's a stupid bet. Like, well, I don't think Medlock would ever make such a stupid first offer. I thought the other guy did, and then Medlock took him up on it. Bet Ayla on AI killing everyone within a few years. I don't know anywhere near enough about AI. She's way more in that industry or that community than I am.
A bit like copium. If you know him for this, that's kind of funny. But actually, he's a pretty notorious grifter and scammer who was getting investigated by the SEC. Until recently, he put $75 million into Trump coin. And all of a sudden, the SEC asked a federal judge to put the case on hold. Basically, immediately after putting $75 million into Trump coin, the SEC said, let him off the hook.
I don't know if Atrioc has like a political lean or bend at all, just because I don't watch enough of his content, but it would be interesting to see just politically neutral people come in and kind of look at what some of the Trump admin is doing, because it's like very blatantly and very obviously like, whoa, hey, this is actually like mega corrupt, guys. Like, wait, why would they pause the same investigations on guys that probably literally just did a bad thing? Isn't that kind of weird? Like, I feel like if an ordinary person came in without any of the preconceived political biases, they'd be like, this is like really fucked up, no, guys?
Who was getting investigated by the SEC. Until recently, he put $75 million into Trump coin. And all of a sudden, the SEC asked a federal judge to put the case on hold. Basically, immediately after putting $75 million into Trump coin, the SEC said, let him off the hook. This is the guy who, again, was fraudulently manipulating the price of digital tokentronics, selling unregistered securities. The case is now dismissed. This shit is open grift, bro. I don't know how to say it. It's textbook. It's nice, like, it's the definition of corruption. And it's all got me feeling some type of way, bro. It's all got me feeling like, hopefully people can see this collectively. I do have some hope from seeing people who voted for Trump admitting fully this is grift. If you can't, I don't know where we're going to go. If we can get everybody...
Oh, yeah, because the Portnoy guy even was like, hey, isn't this kind of fucked up? I don't know where he's at right now and all this, but...
Some hope from seeing people who voted for Trump admitting fully this is grift. If you can't, I don't know where we're going to go. If we can get everybody to admit this is grift, we can stop the strategic Bitcoin reserve from literally devaluing our money to pump someone else's bag. This is not a long presentation. It's a heartfelt one. If I have one thing that I would like us all to collectively agree on, is that this is fucking awful. And if not, I'll go check out the fucking houses in Monaco. I gotta have a long talk with Ari, bro.
It's fun watching people find out about Trump's corruption and their particular areas of knowledge. Oof. I read some guy on Twitter a few days ago who had that with Elon Musk, where it was like, he tweeted something along the lines of like, I didn't know anything about rockets. So when Elon Musk talked about rockets, it sounded like he was smart. I didn't know anything about electric vehicles. And when Elon Musk talked about Tesla, it seemed like it was smart. But he does know a lot about software. And when Elon Musk started talking about software, the guy was like, this is the worst shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Oh, man. Imagine having to watch this in court. Oh, no. Is he going to get rear-ended? Damn! Jesus.
This is what I've been really staying up at night over. Atrioc,
unreal.
Can you tell me about what's going on with the culture and whether people are canceling?
Absolutely. Look, I get it. AI is going to be disruptive. But I think
His only issue. You've been really pro Trump. You've been really pro Trump.
is coming on.
I decided to like call a few people.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. Yeah, I want to.
So just to get like a general vibe on what's going on, because I think you've talked about this quite a bit, and this is letting her kind of break it
Damn, this looks really nice. This is super cute.
down for me. And she's like, at the end of the day, like it just came to like
to really make it in the tech industry.
Retirees.
But is this guy, is he like the main character, whoever the middle guy is? Because he's in all three shots. You notice that? This is a super cute sign. And he's got skateboards.
People, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, funny,
Trump is probably like most Americans, though, and does not realize you guys have states.
Yeah.
And
No.
it is
Probably. It's Doug, super hilarious streamer. Wow. Okay, my subreddit mods, because they're trying to do things for good effort posting on the subreddit, have done their second weekly news breakdown. They have a link to a Google Doc. They've made it nice and pretty and everything. If you like it or don't like it, I'm looking at, here's a subreddit comment, participate, have fun.